zero gravity moment we've had. Sorry, I'm going to slow down. This is zero gravity moment over the last year. Things are starting to fall from that time, this space that we've been in. And now we get to decide what we want to do with it. And today in the conversations, I'm really excited to see and hear what everybody in our community, in our worker co-op community, is planning on doing, excited about doing, and wanting to push forward. And before I hand it over to Esther, our vice president, I wanted to thank the board, who are your representatives to the U.S. Federation of Worker Cooperatives. They are there to represent the members and keep this organization accountable to what you all want this organization to be doing and representing and supporting moving forward, and have in the past. And so I just wanted to thank and share my gratitude for the rest of the board and their amazing leadership. It's so wonderful to be part of a movement, a leaderful movement that isn't afraid of sharing power together. And with that, I'll pass it over to Esther West, our vice president, who's going to be taking over some of my responsibilities as I step away for a couple months to study for and take the California bar exam. So Esther.
Thanks, Ricardo. And also thank you so much for all of your diligent work as board president, and really appreciate you. And another huge thank you goes to the incredible USFWC staff. Even during this past difficult year, they have grown their amazing work and organizing, and are incredible individuals too. It's powerful to gather here with all of you for this member meeting. That we even come together this way speaks to the participatory nature of what we're doing. Co-ops and us as individuals have many co-op specific strengths. And we are all powerful, smart, creative, diverse, and unique people. And working together through our co-op communities, we only build our collective power and strengthen our communities. Today, I encourage us all to just let ourselves grow our worker co-op strengths in ways that feel genuine to our cooperative souls. I'll now hand it over to Esteban.
Thanks so much, Esther. I want to make sure, is everyone able to see the screen share? Can we get those slides going? Because, yeah, we have some faces to go with the names. All right, it's on its way. Yeah, so just picking up both what Esther and Ricardo were sharing about you can go back one to our board, putting those faces up. So you can connect with your representatives. You know, normally we do all this in person or as much of it as possible, but it's also really nice to be able to have everyone Zoom right in without having all of the hassle of travel. So in some ways, this is even more accessible. So these are the reps on your board this year. We have board elections every year. We'll talk about the elections for this year a little later on toward the end of the meeting. But this is who your board representatives are. And I wanted to just echo the appreciation and love for all of their volunteer service, guiding very big strategic conversations, and also some of the smaller nitty-gritty ones. The next slide goes through some of our expanded staff. And I just want to especially shout out some of the new faces and names because we have been continuing to grow. So welcome to the team, Dairisha. You guys got to hear from Dairisha a moment ago. Dairisha is filling a brand new role that we haven't had before as our Director of Education and Training. And we actually have two new directors because we also have Savannah Lyons joining the team. Savannah also started at the beginning of 2021 as our managing director, and is based in the South in Tennessee. Dairisha is here in Philadelphia. Also new to the team, Raquel Navarro out in the Bay Area in California. Brand new, and in fact is just about to graduate. So congratulations on that. Double congrats to you. And I think the rest of the faces should be new to most of you, except I believe, did Matt face not make it onto this slide? Matt Feinstein is also new to our staff. He started this winter. Many of you are familiar with Matt because he's been organizing in Worcester for a long, long time. And we're happy to have him on our team running our co-op clinic these days. So welcome to everybody. The quick thing that I wanted to say before we dig into a couple things is just an overview of our time this afternoon together. So we've got a couple hours together, and most of it is really based on opportunities for discussion and connection. So it's sort of a breakout group sandwich with some program updates as the substance right in the middle, and breakouts as the bread. Before we do that first breakout, we're gonna just get a chance to hear about welcome in our new members. Some of you are on the call, so welcome to you. We'll get to see who some of those groups are in a moment. Then our first round of breakouts is really just an opportunity for everyone to be in small groups, to catch up, maybe to introduce yourselves if you're in a small group of people who you don't already know. Some of you are going to either be new to your organization, or maybe your whole organization's new to our membership overall. So it's an opportunity for that. After that, we're going to have a quick bio break because, of course, sitting behind a computer for a couple hours can be a bit much. So we have a quick bio break before we dig into some program updates from our staff. It's not going to be comprehensive. We really tried to shrink it back to just some things that are essential, or some of the things that that you guys wrote in about with questions and curiosity. So we figured, oh, if 2 or 3 of you have questions, maybe 20 or 30 of you have some of those same questions. So we'll do some very brief updates. I think it's fewer than 20 minutes total of that. Before we get into our thematic breakouts, there's 5 different groups. There's a whole slide explaining what those topics are, but it kind of ranges from solidarity space for immigrant worker owners to union co-ops discussion, regional updates, and policy work. And then when we come back from that, we do have some time to close out with announcements. There is one moment later on in the middle of the meeting where we will be polling everyone who's here at the meeting, specifically around some input for endorsement around the PRO Act. So hopefully you all had a chance to see the member packet. If not, you can also download that now or get access to it now. The password's 2021. And either for today or for you to share with your coworkers as a report back, some of the materials from today's meetings. Lastly, we do have a slide deck for capturing notes while we're in breakouts. There will be either a board or a staff person with you in those breakouts to just answer questions about how to jump in and participate and help with that. But that's kind of the flow of what we're doing today. We'll be wrapping in just under 2 hours. And I think with that, I just want to kick it over to our membership coordinator, Kate Barut, to help me welcome our new members to the USFWC.
Thank you, Esteban. And I'm going to switch into Spanish now. So this is a reminder that we all need interpretation at some point in our organizing life, and that if you haven't connected to the interpretation, remember that the globe is at the bottom. And if you're an English speaker, you will click on English. So I'm going to switch into Spanish now. Hola, hola. Espero que ya todas.
Hi, everybody. I hope that everybody is connected to interpretation. We have interpretation in Spanish and English this afternoon. We just wanted to welcome. It's been a year of a lot of growth for all of the Federation and for the whole movement of worker cooperatives. We have seen an increase, a strong increase of cooperative organizations starting their process of forming their cooperative. And also we've seen an increase of members who maybe have been cooperative since a long time ago, but have made the decision to enter the federation and become part of the federation. So just to show some of the groups who have joined us this year, can you please go back to the other campaign? Please, can you return to the other slide? Okay, this is some of the groups who have joined. There's representative here, home workers here in Philadelphia, and a group from Montana that does inspections for organic standards in farms. And we also have construction workers here in Philadelphia and Baltimore. We have some cafeterias, some beer makers in Massachusetts, brewers in Massachusetts and in New York. And we also have a lot of groups of technological work based in different parts of the country. And if you could go to the next slide, please. And we also have present here truck drivers from Illinois. We have artist groups from different parts of the group. And many other cooperatives have joined us this year, like Evanston Development Corporation and Collective Remake. And we also have farms who have joined, including Conoya Farm, sorry. And so we welcome all of you who have joined. I think some members who have joined more recently are here. I know that Cold Hearted Bookkeeping is here in the call. They're accountants, a co-op of accountants. And there's other groups present here. And yes, it's been a year of a lot of growth, and it's just May. So we hope that there'll be much more growth. So I pass the floor to Dirisha.
Oh, se me olvidó del último slide, disculpen.
Oh, and I forgot to say, there's also taxi drivers from California and groups who are developing producer co-ops for pot growers, marijuana growers in Massachusetts. And a few co-ops joined of consultants in Spanish, like Life Transformation from Colorado, and De Colores that is in California, and two groups of taxi drivers. One is Blue Cab in San Francisco, or Green Cab, and another one, I'm sorry, I didn't hear the name, but to Drivers Cooperative from New York, who are giving competition to the apps that provide rides online like Uber. And sorry if we didn't get everybody else, but these are the ones we could mention for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate, and welcome to all of our new members. That's really exciting. And as Esteban was mentioning, we're going to have a period of time now to do some breakout groups so that all of those new members and our longtime members can get a chance to connect. I do want to just mention these groups will be organized by language, and there won't be interpretation within those breakout groups. So if you find yourself in a group with the wrong language, then please just come back to the main room and we'll redirect you. And in addition to being able to have a time to connect with each other, we also want to use this as an opportunity for your federation to get to know more about what's going on for you. So we're asking folks to assign a note taker while you're in that group and to take notes on the link provided in the chat. And you will find a slide that corresponds with your group number. So if you can take down some notes so that we can make sure to hear back remotely from those conversations as well. So a few of the prompts that we wanted to propose are, one, just getting a chance to introduce yourself and kind of say, how are you showing up today? And then also to let us know what has shifted in your workplace in this last year. It has been a big year in a number of different ways, and we want to know what's going on for each of you. A few points that we were particularly interested in is that we have been seeing big gender disparities this year, right, in terms of how COVID and economic impact has come down. And so we'd love to hear about any short-term or long-term solutions that you have tried or seen in terms of addressing that gender disparity in this last year. Also curious about what are some of the challenges your businesses might be facing in terms of access to vaccination, and if there's any way that the Federation can support visibility campaigns to promote vaccinations. We'd love to hear about that. And then any other lessons from the crisis, and that might be really particular to you depending on your geography or the industry. What are some of the lessons that have come up? So again, just an intro and a chance to talk to each other and say how you're doing, and then looking at how your year has shifted, in particular in those three areas of the kind of gender discrepancy, what you're seeing around the vaccine, and any lessons that you've had from the crisis. So in just a moment, we'll break out into breakout groups, and you'll have about 20 minutes total. And the groups will be about 3 or 4 people, so please do make sure to balance your time accordingly. We'll give you updates when we're about halfway through and when you have about 5 more minutes.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're able to take a quick bio break, get a snack, get a drink. We're going to get right back into the swing of things. We're going to do some program updates in just a few minutes, but I thought I would give all of you a preview so that you could get ready. And as you're listening to the updates, you can start to decide where you want to go for our next breakout session. So you'll see on the screen, there's going to be 6 different breakout spaces. Room 1 will be space around advocacy strategy. The second will be for immigrant co-op affinity space. The third room will be for our union co-ops groups. The fourth room will be a member discussion on platform co-ops and multi-stakeholder co-ops. If you're a new member and you just want to kind of get settled and get to know a little bit more about the Federation, you can stay here in the main room. There will be interpretation in this room in both English and Spanish. And then there's one other room for regional organizing and Federation partner strategy, which is actually a separate Zoom line. Someone is gonna share the Zoom link for that just in a few moments. So please take a look and try to decide where you wanna go at the breakouts. So you hear from a few different people from staff, and then we'll break out into groups, and you'll be able to choose your own breakout groups. I know this is a lot of information to take in, so you will also see in the member packet, there are directions for how to select your breakout room, so you don't have to worry if you didn't get it all just looking at this screen right now. It's all prepared for you in the member packet. So with that, I'm going to send it over to Maddie to talk about our worker benefits program and open enrollment.
Hey everybody. Cool. So I am the worker benefits coordinator here at the Federation. If you aren't familiar with it, our worker benefits program is a program available to all of our members where you can access dental or vision insurance for your employees, and then also get access to a couple different types of sort of support in administering these other benefits. We have accident and disability insurance. We're working on a pilot for retirement savings. That's not quite ready to go yet, but we're hoping to have it rolling out later this year. And then we're also doing a lot of work around health insurance and access to tax advantage reimbursement plans, which are plans that you can use to help pay for insurance for yourself or for workers in your workplace. I just wanted to do a quick plug of this program because it is sort of that time of year when it's really important to start thinking about what your co-op or your organization might want in terms of benefits for 2022. Our open enrollment period is for all of our members. It starts October 1st and goes through December 8th. And so anyone can enroll for benefits that will begin on January 1st. For new members, you can enroll in benefits within 3 months of joining the organization as a member. So you get a sort of bonus special enrollment period. I also wanted to take this time to just plug that there have been some really, really important changes to the Affordable Care Act in the latest COVID stimulus package that got passed in March. Basically, the whole function of the Affordable Care Act is that it creates subsidies so that the government will help you pay for an insurance plan for yourself or your family. Those subsidies to support that payment have gone up across the board, and caps on eligibility have been removed. So if you couldn't get a subsidy like that in the past and are interested in getting individual health insurance off the Obamacare marketplace in your state, now is a really good time to go back to that marketplace and look to see if your prices will change or if your subsidy can go up. And that can happen. You can do that until August 15th of this year. This does not usually happen. This is the biggest expansion of this law since it went into effect. And it's not being publicized very well. So I really wanted to make sure that everyone knew about that. And if you have any questions, I am more than happy to talk through it more. You can check out our blog post that I or someone else can link in the chat. And you can also send me an email at benefits@usworker.coop. We also have all of our information about our various plans available on our Spanish version of the website at usworker.coop/beneficios-laborales. And yeah, that is my very quick overview, and I look forward to speaking with hopefully a lot of you around open enrollment time. Always happy to be here to answer questions and share information as needed. So thanks.
Bueno, quiero compartir ahora el trabajo.
I'd like to share now a little bit about our work with the census. That the census is open since April. It's the only survey that's done at the national level, and I want to share some work about democratic workplaces in this. This democratic work is available to co-op members, and we're co-op members and democratic workplaces are all eligible, and also co-ops that are in their opening stages. So all of you who have not participated before and who have not participated in the past, especially during COVID, we've seen a great increase in co-ops that have been opening. So it's very important that this year you participate. The last census that we undertook was in 2019, and there's been a lot that's happened since then. In 2020, we want to be able to collect this information to how you've been affected financially, and also how your workplace practices, how the COVID situation has affected you, because this information that we gather in the census helps us in our political advocacy work to advocate for more resources, for more technical assistance, and these tools that are available are also help give us better information about the cooperative sector. And this helps us as a federation know how we can respond better and what tools we can develop for the membership. And we have been doing this now for several years, together with the collaboration of the Institute for the Democratic Works Institute. And I'm going to put a link in the chat here for you, so you can look at more information. This census will be open through May to the end of June. Thanks.
Thanks, Ana Martina. So next up, we have a few updates about our advocacy work. If you don't know me, my name is Mo Manklang. I'm the policy director at the Federation. And it is my deep, deep honor to work with our members all the time on everything from federal level campaigns and legislation to municipal level advocacy work, and it has been a really, really exciting year. So what you're looking at right now is a map of just the advocacy work that we know about. And I can tell you that there is definitely more that we don't yet know about. So this is a plug to get involved with our Policy and Advocacy Council. If you see a state in which there's work happening that we don't know about, I will note that this is based on states, not cities. So if you're looking at stars, it's just in the middle of whatever state. So what you're seeing in green, there's a lot of areas where there's actually money being dedicated and resources being dedicated by states and cities towards worker cooperative support, either technical assistance or grants. And then as you get lighter towards a little bit more of the yellow, we're seeing interest from different cities and states. If there's not yet money attached yet, but there's definitely interest and it's growing. This map has grown quite a bit over the last 2 years or so. I want to give a couple quick shout outs to particularly to NICNOC. They put out a policy platform with their advocacy council. There's in Massachusetts, they created a whole platform and have several pieces of legislation going forward in the Massachusetts legislature. All in support of worker cooperatives with many different supporters in both the House and the Senate side for the Massachusetts state. And then in the bottom, you're seeing cute little screenshots from a hearing that happened in Connecticut just a month or two ago that was to start to have a hearing to start a Connecticut Center for Worker Ownership. So there's all different kinds of work happening, huge shout outs. I get the benefit of being able to kind of like talk with and understand what's going on and lead some of the work at the federal level, along with our national partners, of course, but it's very, very exciting to be seeing a lot of this work happen directly from our members, right? Being driven by worker owners and people that are on the ground closest to the problems who are able to inform this work. Something that we're getting into, and we've done some in the past, and it's clear that what we hear from all of you is that that we want to use this federation and use this movement to do more advocacy for workers' rights, for all different kinds of things, whether it's in the worker cooperative movement or outside of it or adjacent to it, overlapping with it, right? So we've endorsed things like the Movement for Black Lives platform, the Water Act. We've put out statements in support of our immigrant communities. And right now, we are currently considering supporting the PRO Act. If you don't know, the PRO Act is a piece of legislation that has recently been introduced. And it's a renewal of support of labor unions and workers all across the country. So it puts an end to right to work, it legalizes secondary strikes, It ensures that a lot of the work around like green jobs and sustainability will be driven by workers and will be unionized workforces that are doing that work. And in particular, it helps gig workers and essential workers that have been so challenged and stressed over the last year, particularly. So if you look in your member packets, you will see there is a little bit more information about the PRO Act. And maybe Savannah, if you want to throw up the poll, we can have people just weigh in. So right now, what's happening is the board is endorsing. Actually, I'll go to the next slide, and you can see. So the board is considering whether to support the PRO Act. What we're doing right now is, this policy and advocacy work that we're doing, it's still relatively new. So we are right now, any major decision that on endorsements that we're looking at, it goes through the board. So in the future, we're going to have more opportunities for the members to weigh in on what we're calling a position paper, which is, it's going to be a short paper that helps to outline what are the values of the Federation and its membership, so that we can have a statement that says, like, we care about immigrants, we care about Black people, we care about sustainable jobs for our communities. And then both the staff and the board and all of the Federation will be able to lean on that and be able to say, like, be able to respond really quickly to what happens to legislators who often come to us and say, we would like you to weigh in on this by tomorrow. I know many of you are very familiar with this. So is the poll up? I'm not sure. Okay, great, awesome. Thank you. So we're asking people to weigh in on whether or not we should endorse the PRO Act. I will say, this isn't like a full membership vote on this. The board will be taking into consideration your votes here, and then we'll be making a decision, and then you can look forward to more opportunities to weigh in the future. So while we, let me see, I'll go to the next slide. The direct ask is, do you support our endorsement of the PRO Act? Maybe we'll just leave this up for a minute while I talk about something that's really exciting to me that's coming up. And I hope exciting to a lot of you. So as we've been doing a lot more endorsement work, and we've done a lot of federal work and a lot of municipal work, what we have realized is that there's a little bit of a gap at the state level for forwarding worker co-op policy. So what we aim to do is to support that work by creating a policy and advocacy fellowship that's really directed towards statewide organizing. So it's still in the very early stages, but we wanted to give you a heads up because more information will be coming out very soon about that. But we're hoping to gather a small group of people to help us forward statewide worker co-op legislation and campaigns, and really helping to assess, like, what are the opportunities that we have in these different states, particularly the ones where we have a great deal of members. So thank you to everyone who's voting. Rachel, I see your question here. So there is a ton more information about the legislation in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and all over the place. If you missed the Worker Co-op Policy Pulse, we went through a lot of this in there. So there's a link to the recording for the Policy Pulse and the slides to that above in the chat. So I encourage all of you to watch that, and then also getting involved in our Policy and Advocacy Council, which meets twice a month on the 1st and 3rd Thursdays. All right, I think that's it. I think we can probably close the poll. There's a lot more information, again, in the member packet about the PRO Act, so you can read up, and feel free to get in contact with me at policy@usworker.coop.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Mo. I think we have a little bit of time to make up, so I will try to keep this brief. and leave you with links and information for where you can find out more about these updates. Okay, so my 2 updates, the first of which is about regional events. Typically in odd numbered years, instead of producing our worker co-op conference, which is the national conference that we co-produce with the Democracy at Work Institute. In odd numbered years, we have traditionally had these regional events for the Western and Eastern regions, which have become increasingly more nationalized, which is great. And so this year, in addition to everyone needing a little bit of a break and having a lot of uncertainty about in-person events, we are pulling together a digital conference program. We did that for the first time last year, and here's our vision for having a virtual Eastern Conference for Workplace Democracy this fall, and also a Western worker co-op convening. So essentially, we're hoping to have a week, maybe like 4 days, where you all and other members propose sessions, trainings, events, panels, topics, gatherings. It could be like a caucus thing throughout that week. We're aiming for early November. And then we'll have a couple keynote sessions that the Federation organizes directly that will feel a little more like our conference last year. And then we'll sort of culminate in another plenary session that we're organizing as an awards ceremony for folks who you all will nominate and who the host committee will select as our 2021 some of the individuals and cooperative groups who we want to acknowledge and appreciate this year. So that's sort of the vision at a high level. It means that if you go to the next slide, we are going to be calling for host committees to actually have a lot of member involvement and participation in curating what those sessions look like. So we're going to take care of a lot of the logistics behind the scenes, the application form, RFPs, things like that, promotion and even scheduling, all the administration. But what we really have found helpful for members is your voice in shaping some of the content. So we're looking for a handful of folks from each region, one with more of an emphasis on the South and East, and another with more of an emphasis on the Midwest and the West. So we're gonna have 2 concurrent host committees, and throughout the week itself, we'll be sort of putting together a series of sessions, learning opportunities, and of course that award ceremony toward the end of it. So it's probably about 3 to 7 hours a month, depending. There might be some months where it's a little heavier, especially when you're reviewing the applications earlier in the summer. And then again, when in the beginning of the fall, when we're looking at the nominees for the various awards. And I think those are the main things we wanted to say about those. So there's links to nominate either yourself or a coworker. It's also, there's more information about the call for volunteers for the host committees and descriptions about it in the member packet. So you can share that with your coworkers and your local friends. And if you're not necessarily interested in serving on a host committee, you should be thinking about what sort of sessions you'd like to see to propose. Okay, next slide is my other announcement or just update, which is around our Federation partner strategy. I wanted to tee this up because there is a breakout room where we can go deeper into some of the questions or ideas that people have around this work. But just at a high level for the updates, nowadays we have about 25 different local and regional groups. In our membership meetings in the past, we've had like a long bulleted list with all of the acronyms and names of the local union co-ops initiatives and some of the groups that are developing and incubating co-ops, some of the membership-based ones, some of the networks that are cross-sector or specifically focused on worker co-ops, and other ones that might actually focus on ESOPs or employee-owned businesses. So we're really finally at a place where we're able to zoom out and put all of those different, all that activity together to start to shape up a strategy for how we're convening groups. We are, part of how we're doing that is picking up on a fellowship program we had several years ago that we co-produced with Democracy at Work Institute, and relaunching a peer network. So it's basically a community of practice for all the different organizers, volunteers, maybe even staff who are involved in those kinds of efforts. So you all can connect with each other as peers, right? It's a community of practice, people who are doing the same things. And part of what we're doing this summer is we're going to be holding some interview sessions and focus groups to get a sense from you of your challenges, your priorities, things you want to learn about, skills you want to build for internal trainings, and then different ways to connect with some of the various member-led councils that we have. So you might have more of an emphasis on immigrant organizing or on policy. We have councils that address some of those things. So that gets at that. And the second slide, and I might ask you to put your cameras on if our friends from Boston and Vermont are here. Second slide is in some ways even more exciting because it's a new idea that we're experimenting with. So we just signed 2 different contracts. These are pilot programs that the Federation's doing to hire or contract with local organizers in 2 different regions. One in Eastern Massachusetts, the other in the state of Vermont, which of course is a long state. So we have someone in Southern Vermont and someone in Northern Vermont. Both of these areas have concentrations of co-ops. So there's about 20 worker co-ops in Vermont. This doesn't count any of the startups or conversions that are in the pipeline, right? And about 50 in Eastern Massachusetts. So for Vermont, we're working with Alex Fisher and Andrew Stackew from the Toolbox for Education and Social Action as just local organizers. So it expands our capacity to do field organizing on the ground, be in touch with members, hear how you're doing, how we can connect you to technical assistance or some of our programs, and just tighten that relationship. And similarly, in Eastern Massachusetts, we're working with Elalio Guevara and Erika Perez and Stacy Cordero from the Boston Center for Community Ownership. So also connecting with technical assistance, training, capacity building, referrals, and resources from the rest of our staff. The idea being that these local kind of field organizing partners can help to connect the link in both directions to the programs that we have and resources we have at the Federation level, but also to make sure that the content we're shaping for members is informed by everything that's happening on the ground there. So depending on how this goes this year, we're looking to see what that looks like for other parts of the country as well. I think that is it for those slides.
Great. So I'm going to be doing a quick teaser for the launching of a reboot of our Racial and Economic Justice Member Council, which will be happening later on in the fall. So there'll be much more coming, but a few things I want to say about it is one of the things that most motivates and excites me about working with worker cooperatives is not just the way that they impact the individual worker owners and their communities, though that is both exciting and significant, but the potential that they have to build up, to learn from, and to become embedded in larger movements for economic and racial justice. And at the same time, we also understand that possibility is not the same thing as reality, and it actually takes conscious effort and commitment and work to make sure that those connections happen and that we can achieve that potential. So that's why we're so excited about this relaunch, and the Racial and Economic Justice Member Council will serve as a sort of advisory council for staff and board to make sure we stay aligned with and accountable to greater movement objectives, that we're able to act swiftly around endorsements and respond to the needs that are changing really quickly. And it'll also be a place for leadership development, for building internal shared analysis with each other and being able to share that with the broader federation. And it'll be linked to a speakers bureau that's also in the works. So you'll hear a lot more in the fall, including opportunities to join, but just wanted to sow those seeds now and get folks thinking about it. In the meantime, if you are interested in hearing more, you can direct questions and interest to me at dirisha@usworker.com. I'm sorry, .coop, which I will also put in the chat, and look forward to talking more about it.
Right, I think those are all the updates, right? So I think if folks have questions, actually, I'm gonna switch into Spanish. Si alguien tiene
If
preguntas,
anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. The staff or the board will respond to you. So now we're going to go into our breakout rooms. And in this section, as my compa was announcing, everyone's going to be choosing which room they will be joining. The first room will be the advocacy strategy space. This room will be in English. The second conversation in room 2 will be the immigrant co-op affinity space in Spanish. The third room will be about union co-ops, and this will be in English. And the fourth room will be about member discussions on platform co-ops and multi-stakeholder co-ops. And this will be in English. And for those who are new to membership, who are new members of their co-ops, you may stay in this room here. We will have interpretation between English and Spanish. So if you're new, you can stay here. And the outside external room, there's an external Zoom link. You'll have to use a special Zoom link to join the call, and then come back will be a regional organizing and federation partner strategy. And that room will have interpretation in English and Spanish. And each of those rooms will have a facilitator, someone who will be accompanying you there to help take notes and so share documents and so forth. Any questions? And so we're going to ask that you, those who speak Spanish, if you speak Spanish, you can ask for, feel free to ask for help about which room you need to get to. And we're going to have 20 minutes for this session of discussions.
Welcome back. We are in the home stretch of our member meeting. I hope you had good conversations there. We all want to be in all the conversations. So that was the purpose of having those notes captured. We're actually going to collect those and send them out to all the members in a member follow-up email, which was one of the ideas from one of our board members. What a great idea. So we'll send a recap out to all the members, including those who may have missed this meeting. In that recap, we are going to share the links that you currently see on the slide, which are the links to find out about and to nominate to be on the host committees or these organizing committees for the Eastern and Western conferences, virtual conferences this fall. So those are the links. I think someone is dropping them in the chat as well. Your member pack, again, says a little more detail about what the expectations would be of the host committees. If there are questions about it, I wonder if anyone who's previously served on either of them, because I see so many of you in this meeting, want to say anything about just what that's been like, or why someone might want to volunteer or nominate themselves. Go ahead, Esther.
Hey, yeah, we're, a few of us were part of the, have been part of the ECWD organizing committee in the past. And it's just such a great opportunity to really facilitate what matters to people in their co-ops, to bring it forth and have really practical, hands-on participatory workshops. So I really encourage everyone to sign up if you want, or so, if you're thinking about it, it's a really great opportunity to meet people, learn a bunch, and facilitate really strong connections.
Beautiful, thank you. Okay, I think we can go to the next slide, which might be more announcements.
Hola a todos, creo que estamos al final de la...
Hi, everybody. I think we're towards the end of the meeting. Thank you so much to everybody for accompanying us this afternoon. It's amazing to see how our membership increase and our conversations grow. I hope this has been a good moment to connect with you. It's my turn to give you some announcements. First of all, the Federation will have a regenerative summer, and I think we should all follow the example of the Federation. This means that for 1 month, starting June 23 to July 31, the Federation and the whole team will pause meetings. They'll be working still, but it will just be time to...
trabajo, y no sé si me están escuchando, porque hay un mensaje en el chat. Si alguien puede apoyar a Maribel.
If somebody can help me, saying that it doesn't, she can't hear. So we're going to take time to respond to emails. Please have flexibility. Please have patience with the team. They've been working without stopping since the beginning of COVID. Hope you can give us the benefit of the doubt when you don't hear back from us, and we'll be back to you, and we will be ready to work with you fully, with all of you starting July 31st. And so here they're going to put text messages. There's going to be away messages, and this will be why. This is our opportunity to meet, to encounter ourselves and regenerate. And then there's another slide on all the different webinars. We're going to have the different sessions in the month of June. Please take note and register. It's important to be registered so that you can get the access information. Here's the meetings. And the last announcement is we have a virtual meeting of membership in September. This was the spring meeting, and we're going to have our next meeting in September, 23 of September. Please put that in your calendar from now so that you don't forget. And as always, we're going to send you the links and the recording of this session, today's session, so that you can go back and see it, hear it, or share it with your colleagues who couldn't be with us today. And on the part of the board of directors and the entire team of the Federation, we thank you infinitely for having been with us today to build a better future for all workers. I don't know if anyone else has something to say. I just wanted to mention about the events here, the webinar of how to start your own cooperative, and the June 4th will be in Spanish. So please make sure to share this with your networks because this will be especially for Spanish-speaking people who are looking to start their own cooperative. All the rest will be in English except for the September meeting. Thank you, Kate. I just wanted you to know. Thank you.
¿Algo más que quieras decir, Esteban?
Anything else you'd like to say, Esteban? I'm looking at you.
Okay.
All right. So then, thank you to everybody for accompanying us. Remember that we have elections, general elections this year, and soon we'll be sending you information about that. Thank you so much. It was really wonderful to see your faces. We miss you so much. We miss being together in person. Thank you for coming. We're almost halfway through the year. We survived. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you.
We'll have another membership meeting at the end of September, so save the date. Enjoy your summer. We've got a lot of programming, so you can plug into that too. We'll see you there. Thanks for coming. Hasta luego.
Goodbye and see you later.
¿Escuchan o no?